She is sure. She is sure. She is strong. She is strong. She is true. She is true. She is brave. She is brave. She is bold. She is bold. She is you. She is you. She is you. She is you. She is sure. She is sure. She is strong. She is strong. She is true. She is true. She is brave. She is brave. She is bold. She is bold. She is you.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to today's Word of Mom Radio here on the Word of Mom Media Network. I'm your host, Dori DeCarlo, and you know we are here week after week, show after show, breaking those myths that mompreneurs and businesswomen, especially those of us building our businesses from home, that we're just dabbling in between bake sales and getting our nails done. We're not. We are smart, we are savvy, and we are sharing the wisdom of women in business and in life. And I'm looking forward to bringing today's guest into our Children's Authors Alley. Leia Barrett is a former not-for-profit leader turned children's book author. Beginning her career as an education director for a symphony orchestra, Leia reignited a love of telling stories while developing musical programs for families. She published her first book in the midst of COVID while serving as an executive director for the Friends of Chamber Music, a performing arts presenter in Kansas City. After navigating her organization through the pandemic, Leia pursued her dream of building her own business, Stories by Leia. Her new series, beginning with The Odd Dog, will be part of her mission to educate, advocate, and fundraise for shelters and rescues throughout the country. I have to tell you, Leia's book is so charming. It's so cute, and I can't wait for her to share her story. So with that all being said, Leia, welcome to Word of Mom Radio.
Thank you so much, Dori. It's so great to be here today.
I am so happy to have you here. And I would love for you to take us on your journey from that not-for-profit leader and the fact that you're the education director for a symphony orchestra. So really take us on the journey, which took you from there to now this book.
Absolutely. So I'm a bassoonist by training, and I was training to become a professional musician. And during my master's degree, I started teaching after-school band for an inner-city school and really fell in love with outreach and really fell in love with working with kids, especially in more of an after-school capacity. So when I was trying to kind of figure out where I wanted to go with my career, I did my research and saw that education directors for symphony orchestras really got the best of both worlds. They got to be really creative. They got to stay in the music realm and really work with families. Someone characterized it once as you get to be the fun aunt instead of the mom. So I spent 6 seasons as a director of education for a symphony orchestra, and about 3 seasons in, I was talking with parents as I was booking concerts and things like that, and I kept hearing the same things, especially with homeschool parents. They said, your full orchestra concerts are great, but I have a wide range of kids, like from age 3 to age 13, and my 13-year-olds love it, but like my 3-year-olds, we go to the symphony. It's kind of a lot because you're in these big auditoriums that seat 2,000, and my kids can't really see over the seats, and you have this sea of people dressed in black. It's not the same kind of experience. Do you have anything that's a little smaller and more intimate? And I kept hearing this over and over. So I developed a series called Symphony Story Time. And this was interactive activities. It was 30 minutes of music, 30 minutes of activities where kids got to interact directly with musicians. We had illustrations projected over the musicians. We made the musicians dress in really bright, fun colors, which interestingly was the hardest part of creating this program. They did not like that at all. And then since I was in Orlando, Florida, I had access to a lot of really great actors, actresses, etc. And so we found family-friendly narrators to kind of take a little bit of the onus off of the musicians in terms of trying to present and play at the same time. We wanted them to be there to play and really create this enchanting music and not have to worry about narrating through stories. And that was a huge success, but I quickly learned that there wasn't a lot of repertoire out there that was really family friendly, that was even contemporary. And so necessity is the mother of invention. I suddenly found myself creating stories. My very first story was a twist on Goldilocks, where the bears have a musical home. She goes into the home to explore. And at the end, instead of the bears chasing her away, they hear her playing music and ask her to play music with them. Because for me, music brings people together. It really, really does. And so that was the first time that I really just reignited a love of telling stories. And it coincided with meeting my first indie author who I had hired to present his story. Like, we created a live version of his story. And I said, how do you get connected with a publisher? How does all this work? It was merely curiosity. And he said, well, I just publish myself. I just find a printing company and we do all the publishing through our small imprint, and we publish 1 to 2 books a year. And I went, huh. I didn't really know that was a thing. I didn't know that was something you could do. And to be honest, I kind of put that dream away until the pandemic, when I found myself working for a performing arts organization with very little to do. And so I started just learning wherever I could about how you publish yourself, publish that first story, that Goldilocks story, and then literally got my books in the mail. And a week later, I was asked to step into an executive director role after our founder had stepped away. And so becoming a children's book author and really using that platform, as we mentioned, to educate, fundraise, and advocate, kind of had to take a back burner. I felt like my organization really needed me to help stabilize. So I was acting, but the very first thing I said to my board was, okay, so this is not permanent. I do not want this job permanently. Just keep that in mind. And 2.5 years later, we finally felt like things were stable enough that I could step away. So I found myself independently employed for the first time in my life. I was about to turn 40, and I told my husband, what I want for my 40th birthday isn't a thing. I want a dog. I have had these highly demanding, time-consuming jobs my entire adult career. I love dogs. I have always grown up with dogs. We are getting a dog. I will take care of it. And so I adopted a sweet little brindle schnauzer who herself had a pretty tumultuous upbringing. And she was really the inspiration behind my book, The Odd Dog. She was a dog who had been saved from a euthanasia list in Texas, brought up to Kansas City, and then escaped her foster mom and went on an epic adventure. And she was on her own for about 18 days. And I just always wondered, what happened to her? What was she thinking? Did any of these things cause her silly, quirky behavior that she has now? And I think that's the big impetus behind The Odd Dog. Half of the book is The Odd Dog kind of showing you glimpses into the life it had before it was adopted, to show you why it's kind of an odd dog. And then the second half is that dog adjusting to life in a home for the first time. And it's silly and it's funny, but in adoption world, when we adopt, there's always that mystery to our animals. There are things that they do, and we kind of go, why did you just do that? And we don't necessarily know, because they cannot speak to us. And so one of the big takeaways in this book is that Odd doesn't learn anything. And I think that most of the time main characters are supposed to learn, but really in the story, Odd does these really strange things, and the parents, because they love Odd and want Odd to feel loved and accepted in their home, find places where Odd can still be themselves, just in a different environment that makes them feel like they can be comfortable and happy and thrive. So that's kind of a long explanation, but that's how we got to today, where The Odd Dog is officially launching in about 2 weeks.
How exciting. It really is. And you know what? It is a really cute story, beautifully illustrated. I mean, it is just engaging. And it really is true, because unless you take in a puppy where where their experiences are happening. My youngest brother is an RVer and has an incredibly successful business coast to coast, he and his dog. And he just did an interview saying how he could never do this without a dog.
Yeah.
And this is now his third dog. that Wyatt, it's so funny. We joke that each one of his dogs is the reincarnation on the next level.
Oh,
And now this one, it really is between Jesse and Jenny. Crazy how this dog Wyatt has incorporated all three. But it's so funny because his entire life is based around his dog,
yeah.
where he goes, what he does. And for him as a solopreneur, without that dog, and he jokes with me all the time that, come on, you got to get a dog. I travel all over the place. I'm like, Rick, I got 3 kids. I have grandchildren. I don't have, I have, it's you. You
Yeah.
got nieces and nephews and brothers and sisters, but that's it. Because it is, let's face it, having a dog, it's a perpetual 2-year-old.
Yes.
And I have grand puppies. As a matter of fact, next weekend I will be taking care of 2 of them, and I love on those dogs. I just really do. And I love that they're there. And there is something so special about that relationship, and especially when you've rescued a dog.
Yes.
And they take that extra care because you don't know what they've been through. And so I really do. And I love how kind of the owners are, okay, we have to get used to this dog because he likes to climb and he likes to swim. And,
Yes.
and it's just, but you can't swim in the fish tank.
Yeah. Yes. Well, and when we were kind of building the story together, we had thought about having what would have been a really powerful but sobering 2-page spread that had no words. That was odd, just wondering, am I going to belong? And we decided, no, you know what? There's not going to be no doubt to this dog that they belong. Like that is on us, the owners. And I feel like if you can really get to know your dog, then you can build that trust and that relationship. And then those quirks don't become things that feel insurmountable. You get to know them and then you just anticipate them, just like you do children, just like you do kids that you teach. And I feel like building that rapport is so important, and being able to read those cues is part of responsible dog ownership, responsible pet ownership, in fact.
On that note, think about responsible pet ownership, please. Really, think about what Leah just said. We're going to take a quick break. We're going to say thank you to our sponsors, and we'll be back here in just a moment on Word of Mom Radio. She is brave, she is bold, she is you, and we want to tell your story. Are you ready to share your journey with us on Word of Mom Radio? Go to wordofmomradio.com and register as a guest. We want to tell your story because when you win, we all win.
In 2017, Unsilenced Voices was formed to help survivors of domestic abuse and gender-based violence worldwide. The organization currently serves Sierra Leone, Rwanda, Ghana, and the USA. In 2022, Unsilenced Voices gifted over $33,000 to survivors in the USA, and in Sierra Leone, there are over 26 young girls who have been rescued from sex trafficking and domestic abuse and now going through vocational training school in order to better their lives. We need your help. Donations are critical in order for us to continue our work. We also need volunteers to help with research and development. Please visit unsilencedvoices.org for more information.
And we're back here on Word of Mom Radio. We are talking with Leia Barrett in our Children's Authors Alley about her book, The Odd Dog. It really is just, like I said, it's such a cute book. And I love that it's from the dog's perspective of the things that they learned and the journey that they've been on. And so I'm going to kind of flip it back to you again. How do you feel for you that working in not-for-profit leadership, now having your own business, how do you feel that that has helped you?
I always have had a desire to give back. And I feel like one of the things that I developed during my nonprofit time was being able to build rapport with people who come from very different backgrounds and being able to find mutually beneficial partnerships that serve both of our needs. I feel like years of developing programs that were sponsored by corporate, by hospitals, I really understand what they need from a relationship, and I'm able to quickly build a common ground that gives them reassurance that partnering with me is going to be beneficial. As we talked about wanting to advocate and fundraise for shelters and rescues, I also understand that so often when you work in nonprofit, you don't have a lot of extra capacity. So finding ways to take the onus off of them is something that I really pride myself on. Finding ways to create events that are simple to execute but effective for both parties in the ways they need are things that I really work on as a businesswoman. Even though I'm just starting on my business and I'm not able to contribute a lot, I'm able to contribute in small ways that can add up to large contributions. Like, for example, I often donate auction baskets for fundraising events. And what I learned during my time in nonprofit is that experiences and unique experiences can really increase the perceived value of an auction basket. So, for example, 3 or 4 nonprofits in town, I've contributed a basket, and because I have a new book coming up, I'll say, okay, the winner of this basket not only gets all this great dog mom stuff, because I definitely want to reach the dog lover at this event, but they will also get their dog drawn into the book as an extra character. And where a basket might be worth $75, that extra experience, especially when you see really sweet illustrations and you kind of see the dogs who inspired those illustrations, can make a basket go from $75 to $250 or even $300. And that happens consistently because it's just something that is unique, and that dog is your heart, and you want to memorialize them in such a fun, beautiful way. And I also had really good success during my soft launch with shelters and rescues to do book signing fundraisers, where I might raise the price of the book a little bit, do a fundraiser at a place where they would appreciate extra traffic, like a coffee shop, and be able to get some visibility for the shelter or rescue, sell some books for myself, bring in some extra traffic for the coffee shop, especially on a weekday where they might not have as much traffic as they would on a weekend. And it benefits all 3 parties, to the point where I have a lot of coffee shops saying, come back every month. And I'm going, I would love to. I don't know if I can do that every time, but I think really that relationship building is the takeaway that I had through my years of nonprofit, and just finding those ways to quickly build rapport that can be leveraged into long-term relationships that benefit all of us.
How can our listeners help in your mission if this is something that they're resonating with?
There are always new initiatives that I'm working on. And so following me on my social media or joining my email list, they will always be in the know on that. I'm still, since I am a solopreneur, I'm always working on my website to find ways that are a little more clear, I guess, like easier ways to help. This year, for example, I'm developing initiatives that help raise awareness and raise funds for reading to dogs. This is an initiative that a lot of shelters and rescues are adopting, shelters especially, since they are a physical location. There are benefits for both struggling readers and dogs to having children read to them. It actually calms the dog. It gets them used to socialization. On the child's side, if they're a struggling reader, they don't feel judged by the dog. They can take as much time as they need to read through a sentence, especially if there's a word they might be struggling with. So I am working on initiatives, including during Read Across America Week, I want to do a Read to Dogs Across America Week. And I really want to get a lot of community behind that, where we can raise awareness about the places who are doing these programs, teach people how to get involved, what the benefits are, be able to do some really fun giveaways with my author friends, and just really try to build a community that is passionate about rescue and advocacy and fundraising. So, I mean, the other thing I would say, this sounds a little trite, but I do donate a portion of every book sale to shelters and rescues. So if you buy a copy of The Odd Dog, especially through me, through my website, then you will definitely be helping shelters and rescues. And I'm constantly working to expand the list of partners that I have, not only locally, but also nationally.
I'm going to say it is not trite that a portion of your proceeds go to help animal shelters and rescues. That's not trite. It's a wonderful thing. As somebody, the dog that I had, I've always been a rescue person. And my dog, Stacy, was a shepherd lab. She was 6 months old. She didn't weigh 15 pounds. The vet looked at me. She had 105 fever, pneumonia. He was like, "What made you take a dog like this?" I said, "She loved me and needed a home."
Yeah.
He's like, "God bless you." He was like, "No dog food, people food, rice, pasta, chicken, turkey." 6 weeks, I was going back and forth for vitamins and antibiotic shots and stuff. And after 6 weeks, he goes, "I never thought this dog was going to live." He said she had a great life till she died. She had a great life, and kids who loved her. She was there as I was giving birth to my children. There's just something really special about the relationship between a child and a dog.
Yes, definitely. Well, and like we had, growing up, we had a dog who had been returned to the shelter 2 or 3 times as a puppy. And that imprinted on her a fear of being in enclosed spaces. She could not handle kennels. She was very, very fiercely loyal to us. So we traveled in a van. She came with us on every family trip. And so that dog, it was like having another sister. I mean, it literally felt like having another member of the family because she shared all our memories. And that is such a special gift to have as a child, for sure.
What a great way to wrap up this conversation, Leah. It really is. So, as we are closing out, what would you like to leave our listeners with, and how may they reach out to you?
Well, I'll start with the first part. Stories by Leia, Leia, storiesbyleia.com is where you can reach me. And actually, if you sign up for my email list, you can see The Odd Dog for free as an ebook. And I would just say you can reach me through my website. I actually am hoping to travel more and do work like this, not only in Kansas City, but nationally. So if you have a shelter who might like to do a fundraiser with me or wants to partner with me in some way, I am always happy to start that conversation and see how we can help each other together. I mean, it's all about the work that we can do together. We can always accomplish more that way.
What are you going to say to that person who's got that book in them, Leah?
Do it. Take the time, don't rush it, and just do it. There is always another story to tell.
Wow, there's a quote, because it's true. There is always another story to tell. Leah, thank you so much for taking the time to be here. All of Leah's links are going to be live on wordofmomradio.com. And I do encourage you to buy her book through her website. Please buy it through her site. You'll contribute to her directly and to shelters. So just do that. That would be great. Again, it is such a charming book. So for those of you out there with little kids and the grandmas that are listening in, for your grandkids, this is a really charming story. It's well done, it's well written, it's well illustrated, and it's an important story to tell because dogs are like the best people out there. And they have a story too. So, tune in and listen. So again, Leah, thanks so much for being here. I really enjoyed this conversation.
And thank you so much for having me, Dori. I really appreciate it.
It's been my pleasure. And for all of you tuning in, thanks so much for being here. We're going to close out with our fabulous theme song from Smith Sisters and the Sunday Drivers. So till next time, this is Dori DeCarlo saying go out and create a marvelous you. Bye for now.
She is sure. She is sure. She is strong. She is strong. She is true. She is true. She is brave. She is brave. She is bold. She is bold. She is you. She is you. She is you. She is you. She is sure. She is sure. She is strong. She is strong. She is true. She is true. She is brave. She is brave. She is bold. She is bold. She is you. She is you. She is you. She is you. Sure of herself, yeah, she takes care of biz. Powerful and strong, yeah, she knows who she is. Has integrity, woman strong and true. You know her by name, see this woman is you. sure. She is strong.